What's poppin'? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. Today is Monday. Hope your energy is up. Hope y'all in the right direction. And the reason why is because we got a long day. We got a very long day. Today we talking about Trap Lord Ross. So over the past week, all of this stuff been happening with Big U, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, the Rollin 60s, the whole federal indictment. Everybody's been talking about it. And Trap Lord Ross finally dropped his documentary from his channel. Now I'll say first and foremost that I like Trap Lord Ross's work. I think that is good documentation. I think that he's great at storytelling. I think that he's good at details and how he depicts things and how he gives vividness to the story. But forget all that. F all that. We ain't talking about that today. I'm talking about how this goofy trolled the whole situation. So when I first watched the episode, I'm seeing Trap Lord Ross. Well, I'm not initially seeing him. I'm hearing him talk. And then when he pops up on the screen, right? When he pops up on the screen, he has on a Seattle Mariners hat and he has on a Chargers jersey. And immediately, first thing came to mind is like, that's a stupid ass outfit. Like, you look goofy wearing that, right? But then when I put it up on my social media, I immediately got people, talking about it because I just posted it. I'm like, yo, bro, look at this fit. And people hit me. And a few people that I know personally called me and was like, yo, he's trolling. I'm like, oh. He got on the Seattle Mariners hat, which is the hat that the 60s wear to represent themselves. And he got on the Chargers jersey, which Big U's son plays for the Chargers. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, all right, look, now you went from your journalistic integrity because he positions himself as a journalist, right? He positions himself as a journalist, as a person who digs and gets the information and reports the information. And that's great. But why are you wearing that? What that showed me was a level of not just trolling, but a level of just playing with forces that you can't understand. Now, you can't tell nobody that they can't wear a Seattle Mariners hat. Like, who can't wear a Seattle Mariners hat? Who can't wear a Chargers jersey? But that's not the case when you're a fan. The reason why he's wearing this because you antagonizing the situation or you think it's cute that you put that together, but you really stupid for doing that. And the reason why I think that's extremely dumb and careless, especially on a man's part, this is not no little kid. For one, you're not beefing with nobody in the 60s, brother. You're not beefing with nobody in the 60s. And let me not sit here and talk about the 60s or gangs like it's just this glorious ride that everybody loves and everybody appreciates. Gangs, man. Gangs oppress their own communities. Yeah, I said it. It's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the victims of any sort of gang violence, for the most part, it's always towards one another. Even if it's a rival, it's black and black, brown and brown, brown and black. You know what I'm saying? It's all people in poverty. It's all in poverty, where poverty is our real op. But anyway, seeing this, it let me know that you don't care too much about what it is you're doing from a journalistic standpoint. You trying to be seen. Now, let's keep it 1,000. This dude is from overseas. He's not from America at all. And I'm not even going to talk about what the dudes in UK go through because they got their own gangs and their own politics and their own situations that they deal with in their hoods. But when people report about them, if they do or any, pretty sure they're not antagonizing the situation or thinking that they being funny by wearing the gang's colors. So I wanted to paint a picture, right? Let's say you're watching the news, right? You watching the news and a reporter is telling a story, giving you the play-by-play, walk-by-walk, every single situation, nook and cranny, how they used to say back in the day, all of that. And when they show the reporter, they got a flag on, and they got the gang's flag or the gang's rival flag on or something like that, or they got a piece of merchandise that represents a certain thing. Now, this is the thing. White people love to play victim like they didn't know because that's going to be an easy sell. Oh, man, I wasn't doing, I didn't do that. I just thought it was cool to wear together. Come on, bro. Come on. My problem that I have with the whole entire situation is this: representation. Now, representation is something that people who are from outside of these communities get a chance to play with every chance they get. You get a chance to throw that hat on and wear it because you're wearing it for a reason. The reason you're wearing it for is for the shock value of the situation. But keep in mind that a lot of people who have lost their life, the last thing they might have seen was a Seattle hat. The last thing they might have seen was the Seattle hat. Or they might have met their end because they had that Seattle hat on at the wrong place in the wrong time. But you get the rent. You get to play double dutch. You get to jump in, jump out. You get to jump in, make your dimes, make your money, and jump out. Know what I mean? When it's convenient. The only reason why I feel this way regarding this situation is because of what he's wearing. It's because of what he's wearing. And on top of that, as a black nasty, like, yo, listen, bro, if you're going to wear fitted, you have to learn fitted etiquette. Fitted etiquette. We do not wear hats unless they are gray brims or green brims. Fitteds. You do not put on no black nasty. That's from New York. That's what we call a black nasty. Back to regular schedule programming. Like I said, representation. You don't know what it's like for a person from Inglewood when they see that hat, right? Nor do you care, because what you're doing is not about telling a story. It's about shock value, which is fine, because we can't stop none of this. It's the internet. There's no police on the internet, and it shouldn't be. I'm not for people policing the internet or fighting against the internet. I am all about integrity. And I thought that's what the man had, because when I spoke to him, he was saying, like, yo, I'm just trying to tell a story. But when it comes to black death, black violence, black crime, it's always a conversation that gets to that gets to be had, or it's always some trolling that gets to be had without repercussions. Now, this is the thing about repercussions. I'm not saying for nobody to do nothing to you, right? I'm not saying for nobody to do nothing to you, but sometimes a lot of y'all do need the shit slapped out of y'all. Let's just call it what it is. I ain't said I'm going to do it. I'm not no 60. I ain't no crip. It's not my war to fight. But some of y'all need to be put in a headlock. Y'all need to get a wedgie. You need to be kicked down some stairs. You need to, for the real rights back home, you need to be taught the medication dance. Somebody need to make Trap Lord Ross do the medication dance. If you don't know what the medication dance is, ask somebody who's in the streets from New York that you know, or was in jail from New York that you know what the medication dance is. He needs the medication dance. Now, representation. Because it's always the conversation, well, why don't they talk about Italians? Now, see, here's the thing about Italians. If you had to tell a story about Italians, and I'll just make something up that's fictional anyway, the tracksuit mafia in Marvel, right? If you was telling a story about the tracksuit mafia, you would not be wearing a tracksuit of somebody who had said that had been doing some crimes in that sweatsuit. You won't want to play like that. Because, see, y'all don't play in y'all culture like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't play. Like, look, if anybody, which, see, that's the thing about black people. We ain't the ones that's always going out of our way to try to do something to antagonize another culture. We always want to antagonize ourselves. We always want to do and up the skull and run down on the ops and all of that. And the thing is listen, let me tell y'all something. If you are a gang member and it is 2025, I cannot tell you what you should be doing other than the fact that y'all need to tighten up. What you live and die for every day, while you think it holds some ground, while you think it holds some merit, somebody finds that shit as a joke and they don't care how you feel. They don't care. The only thing that you could do for them is crash out and create another story that they can monetize. Create another story that they could tell. Trust and believe, it ain't no, I don't see white YouTubers telling stories about black success. I don't see a lot of black people telling stories about black success either. So but that's not what we're talking about. Because that's not the attractive story. The attractive story is our demise. The attractive story is our oppression. The attractive story is the genocide that we commit amongst one another every day for these colors, for these hoods, for all of these different tribes that people rep. Now, I can't tell you what you should be. I'm not, because that's not never going to end. Somebody is going to get put on today. Somebody's going to go put in some work today. Somebody is setting themselves up right now. But I want to give a little bit of context as to why people get into the things that they do, especially gangs. When you're young, you might live in a household where you ain't got somebody that love you, or you don't feel love, or you don't even feel seen. Whether you go to school, whether you go to the park and play, whether you just around your other peers, you don't feel seen. But when you look at your peer group and you see all them other dudes and you see what they repping or what they banging or what they claiming, you know what I'm saying? You think, damn, that's the only way they gonna see me. and you sign up for it. And signing up for it come with a lot of pain, a whole lot of pain. I know they talk about all of these court cases that these people catch, but what about the people who don't catch no court cases? What about the people that do get tricked? What about the ones that do just make that one decision to go around the corner and you never hear from them ever again? You know what I'm saying? Street life seems glamorous to people who aren't from the street. Same way how the safari look dope to us too. When I go on Nature is Brutal or Nature is Metal, and I watch a cheetah bait a pig, bait a bunch of warhogs in the jungle so they could catch the baby, everybody's fascinated. Wow, look at that. Look at that. But keep in mind that that's their nature. Keep in mind that that's their nature. Keep in mind that a lot of our natures that we have is not something that we necessarily chose. People can't help where they're born. And while we do have choices, a lot of people just don't have critical thinking or a mind. They don't have vision for themselves. So they allow other people to make visions for them. They allow other people to put them in predicaments that they would never put themselves in to manipulate them. That's gang culture. The big homie telling the little homie to do it because he don't want to catch another charge. The big homie telling the little homie that he got to do this so that he could up his rank, so that he could be on his level one day, so he could feel that love amongst his peers in his community. That's what a lot of it entails. And why I think a person like Trap Lord Ross damn sure don't think about none of that, because all he does is report on that. You know what you was doing when you put that hat on, dog. You knew what you was doing when you put that hat on. But by putting that hat on, what did you feel? What did you accomplish? And I'll probably never get that answer. He'll probably never even see this. I'm not doing this for him to see. I'm doing this to let y'all know that's in the streets what they think of you. You just a joke. You just a toy. You just a plaything that can be thrown out at any time. You that to the police. You that to the other ones you banging against or banging with. You are expendable. You are disposable. And this should give you further context. Now, I want to play a clip from the late, great Nipsey Hussle. And the reason why I wanted to play this clip is because he has on that same Seattle hat. Let's watch it.
Damn. But he ain't Snoop Dogg. Well, you do look.
I get that all the time.
What's your name, man? You new and upcoming, but you're at this summit. What's your name? Where you from?
My name Nipsey Hussle. I'm from LA, Slauson and Crenshaw area, you know.
Okay, well, Nipsey Hussle, that's named after Nipsey Russell, the comedian.
Correct, yes.
So talk a little bit about yourself, man. What brings you up here, up and coming, and, how come you're not blinging and having all kind of crazy diamonds and all that? I guess you here to get your money right, huh?
All the time. I mean, all that is cool for the image and all that, but all them is liabilities, you feel me? I'd rather invest in some real estate, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait, can you repeat that again, man? You're up and coming artist. What did you say you want to do?
I say invest in some assets as opposed to trick off my money on some liabilities like diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Cars that lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot.
So you're trying to get...
I wanted to play that clip because representation, right? Now, Nip, you know what I'm saying? He was a part of the same group from the Crenshaw district, South Central LA, and a member from that group took his life. I don't want to harbor on that. I really miss Nipsey. Nipsey was a really, really good person. Every time I seen him and I seen Adam, man, when they would see me, how they would light up. When I would see them, how I would light up. I recently saw Adam last year, and it was the first time I seen him since Nip passed. The last time I seen him, he was with Nip. And when I hugged him, I felt it, because he said to me, damn, last time I seen you was with bro. And it was a moment for both of us. And I miss Nipsey. He was a very, very good person. The reason why I wanted to point out this clip with Nipsey is because representation. There's somebody who signed up for the same thing. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know how they're going to get out their predicament. They might have just been looking for love. And seeing Nipsey wearing that hat, regardless of how negative the situation they may be in is, they might see that sliver of hope within that man and pray that they could do something to get away from the conditions and the environment that they grew up in. Now, a lot of y'all, that play them internet games and them comment games think it's a joke, think it's corny, and a lot of y'all probably never lost nobody to the streets. A lot of y'all probably never had to put no money on nobody's books, had to visit nobody, had to write a letter, you know what I mean, a letter to of character for one of your friends or brothers or sisters or cousins, whomever, your dad, your moms, whoever. For the ones that know that what's understood don't need to be said. But I hope that people can wake up. I really hope that people could wake up and see things for what they really are. Now, I want to play some clips from this brother named Deontay Kyle. He has a podcast called Grits and Eggs. And he says some really powerful things about this YN culture and how people call young black men YNs and how they see him and how he's been able to dispel that narrative with his platform. Let's watch that right quick.
The conversations that we've created in this space alone have changed the minds of thousands of people. We single-handedly turned the YN narrative upside down. We single-handedly did that by imploring empathy, by looking at those young men and seeing ourselves. I don't want to hear YN. Don't say that shit around me. Take it out of your vocabulary. Because just like woke and DEI, it's another way to call you a nigga. You could be 17 years old, valedictorian, with all the ropes, all the decorations. It's valedictorian of the school. Oh, the YN's in education now. That's how you sound. Like, that's what y'all would say. And you allow these people trick you and to make fun of you, and then you adopt it and try to hee and ha ha. Everything ain't goddamn funny. Everything ain't funny, nigga. I don't find that shit funny. As soon as you see a black man and he young, you can tell he a young teenager or young 20s, you want to call him a YN. Stop that shit, man. Stop that shit. Don't let them trick you into villainizing yourself. Because what do you think they think when they hear YN? In their mind, they got a villainous teenager out of Chicago or Philadelphia with a ski mask on, ready to kill each other. That's what.
Very, very powerful words from that man. I think y'all should support him. But I want to say something else. Listen, man, you think stuff is sweet, bro? You could be anywhere, bro. You could be anywhere. You could be at Louis Vuitton one day, spending a couple dollars. You know what I mean? They bringing everything out to you, having fun. And you in Beverly Hills thinking it can't happen, somebody run across your jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you could be somewhere else. You could be anywhere, man. I met dude in Miami at Rollin Loud, bro. You have no idea the amount of people that you putting in your situation by wearing that hat. Think as a man, be a little bit smarter, be a little bit more responsible. And as a white man, mind yourself. I don't know if y'all moms say that, but that's what Jamaican mothers used to say. Mind yourself. Mind yourself when you walk through the door. It means watch what you're doing. Watch what you're doing. Watch what you're doing, man. Watch how you treat the universe. Watch how you treat people. You feel me? And this is a final word I want to leave from that same brother. Let's watch that right quick.
Them, like everybody else, always trying to find a loophole into our fucking community, into our culture. They got all this shit to say about niggas, but always trying to find a backdoor into our culture. It's always our culture up for the taking. You don't never hear about black people trying to appropriate nobody else's fucking culture. The culture we haven't appropriated, it's violent.
So, you know, that's just it, man. People like the way they like to creep their way. They try to find a loophole into what it is that we doing because it's sensationalized. It's in, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all don't know, man, Black demise is in and they're not letting up on it. This is I Do It Myself. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.